the Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and this is a custom video for Paulo. Now, I know Paulo because he sent me an email a few weeks ago, and as you'll see, he's looking to sell a BLNR, a Batman ceramic GMT, and he knew that Matt Stevens, a friend of mine, for a long time regarded that as his ultimate grail, and so he wanted to know if Matt wanted the first right of refusal. But turns out that Matt's pretty happy with his Explorer 2, and here we are. So what's Paulo gonna do with his BLNR? That's pretty much what we're gonna talk about in this video. Let me read his email for you. Hi Austin, before we get further, there are a few details I'd like to bring to light. And these are some facts about Paulo. I fell in love with watches at a very early age, around 4. The first piece that ever blew my mind was a steel Daytona my cousin was wearing. That's interesting. I really only got into, mechanical watches in 2013, 2014, but I wish on a daily basis that I had started earlier. I was into Casios and stuff when I was younger, and then myself I went through a no watch phase where I guess I didn't like wearing a watch or just relied on my phone. And yeah, back in the day, before things had gotten as crazy as they had, it would have been great to be into Rolex, but 20/20 hindsight and all that. My first serious piece was a Milgauss black dial at the age of 18, and as you'll see, he's 26. I'm currently 26 years old and have a small collection of, number 1, a Nomos Tangent Hodinkee edition. Number 2, a Grand Seiko SBGM 221, and he says he absolutely loves this piece. And this looks to be a GMT function watch, and I think in a recent Archie live show, Archie was looking at this watch and liked it, and it is a beautiful watch. Love the GMT function, and it's got a dress watch aesthetic. Yeah, it's really nice. Number 3, a vintage Rolex 1501 date with a white dial and Roman numerals that belong to his grandfather. Wow, a grandfather watch, not just any grandfather watch, a 1501 Rolex. That's a great grandfather watch to have. It's a great watch, period. But for your grandfather to have spent time with it, that's amazing. That's probably, well, when you factor in the sentimental value, it's probably the most important piece in your collection. Everything else can be replaced. Number 4, Rolex GMT Master 2 BLNR on the Oyster bracelet. Just made a video about that. I'll put a link in the description. Well, actually, no, it was the all black I made a video about. But yeah, those were siblings at the time, both discontinued watches. And then number 5, a Rolex Daytona 116500LN. That's the ceramic black dial Daytona. So he's got a fantastic collection. I mean, it's a 5-piece collection and looks great. Looks great. He's got his chronograph, got his GMT. Got 2 GMTs. You could use many of these watches as dress watches. Does he have the dive watch? I don't think so, but it's a fantastic collection at the age of 26, so that's great. Okay, first a little backstory. My GMT was purchased in July of 2015 and is a complete set. Nothing is missing and has been my daily companion through my college days in the USA. So it has accumulated the typical Rolex scratching, but all of them are superficial and easily removed via polishing. But I don't plan on ever polishing it, and nor should you. Just embrace those scratches and that wear as part of the history that watch made with you. And if I were to buy your watch, Paulo, I wouldn't polish it. Sometimes people like to get a watch and polish it, and then all the new scratches that come on it are their scratches and their wear and their memories and their history. I get that. I've done that, I think. But if it's an unpolished piece, deflower it, I think, is kind of unfortunate. And I don't mind previous wear, even that the previous owner did. I think it's part of the watch, and I think it makes it really interesting. I love pre-owned watches for that reason, the mystery and the whole life it lived before it came into your ownership. So yes, I wouldn't polish it either. All my current Rolexes were purchased directly from my local AD, which I have built a wonderful relationship. I'm jealous. My current predicament is, should I let the Batman go and add a Lange Saxonia reference 219.032 in pink gold? And that's a 35 millimeter watch. So get rid of the Batman and go with a Lange Saxonia. All right. The reason being that I think the GMT and Daytona constantly compete for the same wrist time. There isn't a single scenario where I would wear one over the other, except maybe traveling with just one watch due to the obvious GMT complication. The Daytona was a graduation gift. What a great graduation gift. And like I mentioned, it was the first piece I ever fell in love with at the age of 15. All right, so you've got the Daytona. You know, those are both polished middle link oyster braceleted watches, but they're completely different, obviously completely different look and aesthetic. Both have the Serichrome bezels. Complications are completely different. The dials are completely different. It's a, you know, those are two completely different watches. Both are black dial. So I think they fit in the collection perfectly. If you travel, you can use your Seiko for the GMT function, but it would be nice to have that Rolex. And yeah, but he seems to think that the Daytona and the GMT are redundant. And look, it's his opinion. I don't think so. Obviously, if you had the white dial Daytona, then that might make a difference enough to where you don't want to switch. And I know that was a graduation gift. So one thing you might consider if you would like to have some sort of difference in the collection is to trade that for the white dial Daytona, okay? That's one option. And hopefully you don't have any engravings on the back of that black dial Daytona. So that's one option I'll just throw out there early on. Chrono24 has estimated my BLNR to be worth $16,564 USD with the variations showing. What gets to me is how I would sell my watch. I do not consider listing it at any website due to the risk of fraud. Paulo, you bring up a great question, because we buy these watches, we watch them go up in value, and when we're ready to cash out, how the hell do we do it? It's tough. I mean, I wouldn't sell a watch on eBay. I wouldn't sell one with PayPal. They totally favor the customer. What happens if they get it, they open the box from the bottom and then record themselves opening it from the top and then pull out the fake watch that they inserted? I'm screwed. You're screwed. Everybody's screwed. So it's a confusing situation, and I don't know how the heck I would sell a watch if I wanted to. So you definitely come up with a great point. You know, honestly, what I would probably do is I would advertise it in some way, and I would require a bank transfer. And I would make it very clear that you might be waiting a month for this watch, because it's not going to go out until the bank transfer clears completely, all right? Because they can be reversed, I think, at less than a month. So I've never sold a watch, I've never had that happen. Getting ready to sell a few watches on eBay, I think, but they're Seiko 5s and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But when you're talking a nearly $20,000 watch, that's huge. I mean, that can ruin you. It can ruin your horological experience, that's for sure, if things go bad. So yeah, I would much rather sell it to a reputable dealer such as Theo and Harris, Watch Eric, and so on. David SW. David SW. Okay, I don't get a brass razoo from him, but apparently he pays fair prices. Okay, Mark Goldberg apparently sold a watch or two from him recently. It was hassle-free, he got his money quickly, and it was good pricing. So David SW, check that out, check him out, and that might be the way to go. However, there's a big discrepancy between the price Chrono24 suggests and what these dealers would actually pay. Yeah, they got to make their money too, but convenience, speed of getting your money, that's worth talking about. Maybe I got a little greedy and was hoping to buy the Lange and still have $1,000 or $2,000 left. Why not? I mean, I can see selling it through eBay and being able to maybe get a little bit more, but that risk is, you know, it's the risk is what you take. You know, you can make an extra $1 or $2 grand than you would from selling it directly to a dealer, but if it goes bad, it goes real bad, and you'd be praying to just have lost, you know, out on a measly grand. So my advice, what I would do, I would talk with David SW. Perhaps he would be able to negotiate a little bit better of a price, because you've got a lovely piece, you've got all the pieces, you're the first owner, and that would be my advice. But as far as selling it yourself, I just would, like I said, require a bank transfer, and I'd be very upfront that it has to completely clear. And so I would try that, and if the buyer is not okay with that, then don't do it. Okay, but you know, David SW is perhaps the best way to go, the safest way to go. That's probably what I would consider doing. But yeah, leaving that extra $1,000 or $2,000 on the table, we always want to squeeze out every last dollar out of these sales, I imagine. So he continues, the current price for the Lange is $15,500 plus tax. I'm in touch with the manager from their Miami boutique, and that's what she quoted me without the mention of discounts. Lange has offered discounts in the past, but I don't know how much latitude I would be able to get for this piece. All right, well, ask, find out. This isn't Rolex you're talking, so they might be able to knock off $500 for it. I'm just guessing. I mean, this is a dress watch you're talking about. It's an expensive watch. It's a gold watch. So it seems to me that you could get it for an even 15, but I don't know for sure. I don't know how desirable this model is. I do not consider buying pre-owned at all, since I like building a relationship with the boutiques, and it would truly be a pleasure to have my name on the papers of a new Lange. Well, I agree, and look, the real deals are in the pre-owned pieces, but having a virginal piece that you know the history of, having your name on the papers, that's something that's great, and especially if it's a Rolex. But yeah, for a gold watch that tends to have a softer metal and show wear and hairline scratches and all that, getting it nice and new and having that warranty and your name on the card and the papers and having that experience, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, it's probably what I would have done in the past if I had entered when the pieces that I liked were being sold retail, okay? There's nothing else for me to do but go pre-owned, because the pieces that I liked were discontinued. Of course, there was always new old stock, but the prices on those are pretty crazy. So nothing wrong with getting new. I'm gonna do it myself if I ever get a chance. All right, and he says, I would love to hear your thoughts and your followers' advice as well. So be sure to drop a comment about what you think Paulo should do. Well, look, it's not something I would do, and that's because first of all, I like the BLNR more than the watch you're going for. Okay, so I'm totally biased. I don't think that's any surprise that I wouldn't be doing this. But I especially wouldn't be doing it because of two things, all right? And the number one thing is that the BLNR is a watch that you spent time with in college. It was and is your daily wearer. You got a lot of memories with that watch. It's probably, you know, the one constant since your school days. To get rid of it seems kind of a waste. And I might say that you would probably regret it. Okay, you're 26. You're not at the age where you look back and you think, oh, I remember the good old days, right? The good old days are still like, you know, these days for you. But when you're 40 or 50, you're gonna think about your school days. You're gonna think about the watch you had then. And you might miss it. And you'll never be able to get that watch again. And it's a watch that's holding its value. So if you hold on to it, I think it can only increase in value. It seems like the real reason that you might want to flip it is just to fund the Lange. And if you love the Lange that much and you think that's going to be the answer to quenching your desires, all I can say is do it, okay? But it wouldn't mind, all right? And I don't know if later on down the road you would regret losing the watch that was on your wrist all throughout college. I don't have anything from my college days except my Les Paul guitar. And I can't carry that around with me. So it would have been nice to have had a good watch back then and to have worn it and you know, to sell it to get that Lange. I just think you really have to think through that and ask yourself if you're going to regret it and miss it, because once that watch is gone, it is gone, and you can replace it with another BLNR, but it's not going to be your BLNR. So think hard about that, all right? It's a big decision. Now, the number 2 point is that you're 26 and you're already going for an old man's watch. Now, look, I don't think you could call the Lange an old man's watch, but that's the kind of watch that people get when they retire at the age of 40, 50, after working hard for it. I don't know that I would sell a piece to get that piece. It's a beautiful piece, but you're likely just starting out in the world. You're going to be making your money, and are you sure you don't want to just save up? You're young, you're 26. 4 years of savings and maybe get it at the age of 30, a 30th birthday present. I mean, the Lange seems like it would fit better on a 30-year-old's wrist than a 26-year-old's wrist. And, you know, it just seems a little bit early for it. And maybe it is early. And maybe you can't afford it yet. And maybe that's why you're looking to sacrifice your BLNR. So, my advice would be think long and hard before selling that BLNR. And ask yourself if you want it gone and if you're not going to miss it when you're older. Ask yourself if there's time to add the Lange. And I think there is. You're 26. Ask yourself if you just want to not save for it and buy it at the age of 30 or 35 or 40. I know you're thinking 40, you know, 14 years, I can't wait that long. Okay, I get it. But a nice round number of 30, give you 4 years to think about it, give you 4 years to make the money to just outright buy it. So if you had pieces that were kind of hot now and I thought were gonna take a nosedive in the future, I'd say go ahead, sell them now. Do it now. But that BLNR is going to maintain its value. You've got time to think about it. And I really feel like you might be doing this because you're just trying to fund the Lange. And I know you say that is kind of redundant with Daytona, but I don't think it is. I think what I would do, first of all, I might, if you want to make things less redundant, I would work on that Daytona. All right, school kids, time to get home. Dinner time. All right. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you can. We'll just wait till this is done. This plays all over the city speakers all over the city in different areas, and there's one very close. And this is the 4:45 bell, and I think it's sort of the go home bell. Kids get out of school, elementary school kids, and they were all probably heard them playing, get out about 2:30, and then they may just go straight to the park, or they go home and drop their stuff off, and then they go and play, and I think this is sort of the time to get home, dinner time, bath time, bedtime kind of bell. All right, where were we? Yeah, so I would work on that Daytona, and I would flip that plus some cash for a white dial Daytona, unless you like the black dial Daytona more, and then just not do that. Do I support you doing this if this is really what you want right now? Absolutely. It's your watch. It's just not something I would do. And I would hate to see you regret selling your BL&R. Because once it's gone, it's gone. Okay, guys? So I wouldn't do it. Paulo, okay? I would work hard. You're probably new to your job. I mean, you're 26, you just graduated not too long ago. Climb the corporate ladder, make some money, buy that Lange when you're 30 or 40, and it's a great piece, but I don't think you need to be sacrificing some already great and sentimental pieces that you have in order to make it happen. But again, if that's what you want to do, fully support it, because only you really can make this call. Viewers, he wants your advice as well. What do you think he should do? What would you do? Is it too early for the Lange? Should he make it a good 30th birthday present? Give him some time to think about it, make some money for it? And should he get rid of his college watch? What a great college watch. I could have had that watch in college. I would have lost that thing. I mean, man, I woke up in, various parts of the campus from a night of drinking. I never lost my wallet, but yeah. Nobody's wearing Rolexes back when I was a student. That's crazy. Anyway, let him know what he should do, viewers, okay? Drop a comment in the comment section. We're gonna help young Paulo out. Thanks for the question, Paulo. And if you guys have a question, then check out the description of this video. You can see how you can make a custom video happen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.